How nice. My name's Bennett Gale, and I'm the proud teacher of this group of students and their director. Welcome. They have worked so hard on this project. I can't tell you how proud I am of them, from creating the set, the artwork, countless extra hours that they volunteered to put in without any arm twisting. Spring break, they volunteered and encouraged rehearsing when they didn't have to. Amazing community of students and faculty here at this wonderful school. This is the 6th year of my being with this school. This version was originally done, I believe, 7 years ago at Dunsmuir High School, where two of the participants here, Bryn and Riley, their cousin was in that production. And actually, it was their suggestion that stimulated us to do this again. It's a little bit changed. We've added some more seriousness to this event because it's no laughing matter when Martians come and destroy your world, much less you. So we want to reserve. If there's anything that feels for you to laugh, please do it under advisement that this is a serious piece. For those of you that may not be familiar, this is an adaptation that I did from Orson Welles' adaptation of Jules Verne's novel, and it's rumored that he got the story from his aunt, whose lady who cleaned their house had heard it from her brother-in-law. So it goes way back. We've added some different things to the story. For those of you that aren't aware, this was aired Halloween Eve, 1938. And because there wasn't the various areas of entertainment and distraction, radio entertainment played a huge part in everyone's lives. So it would not be surprising that on such a night, the whole family would be congregated around the radio. Now this show, which was a weekly show, Orson Welles and his Mercury Theater, each week they did another story. But it was not one of the more popular shows. So people often surf channeled. And many people hit the show when it was during the serious part of the show. And they did not hear the commercials. They did not hear, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to Mercury Theater or whatever the language was. They didn't hear any of that. They just heard the drama. And they believed it. And because Orson Welles said it in real places in New Jersey, my hometown was one of the first to be destroyed. It's not such a bad thing. However, they believed it. They believed it, and there was a great panic. So I'll leave you with it. Please take some deep breaths because it's a serious play. So you'll be all right. War of the Worlds.
Where's everybody? Come on, go on, it's 5. Maggie, where's the cigarette girl? She was supposed to be here half an hour ago.
Don't worry, I'll get her. Here she is. There's one small problem.
Great, just great, but everything else is going so smoothly. All right, what's the problem?
You'll hear for yourself.
There she is, she looks fine.
Yes, I know. I'd like it to be Fluffy LaRue.
Fluffy LaRue.
Nice to meet you. Look, I'm really just a photo model, but I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to break into that radio. I've got my lines ready to go.
Right. You say you know your lines?
Perfectly.
Wonderful.
What are we going to do? This monster will kill us.
Don't worry, I've got an idea. Do we still have the QXR on file?
Yes.
Just go get it. Come on.
Ready to go?
In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and very good evening to all of you. Welcome to our special night before Halloween extravaganza. We trust you won't be too scared to offer all the children in your neighborhood a piece or two of delicious candy, as all the little darlings go from house to house displaying their special costumes. After all, we want to encourage their imaginations to develop, for they are future leaders who will take us into the second half of the 20th century. Can you?
Honey, hurry. The show will be starting any second. Where's Susie?
Right there. Don't you dare put that pop on the table. Music over here. I don't want any rain.
Yes, dear.
She's over at Nancy's house, remember?
Okay.
Is everybody ready?
Ready!
All right. What did I miss?
I don't know. This thing's on the blink again.
Can you believe it's already 1938? My oh my, how time does fly. Now everyone out there, get real close to your radio. You won't want to miss one word of tonight's show.
All right, Miss LaRue, just sit over there. And don't worry, you have to wear these headphones. And don't worry, you won't hear a thing. Now, just sit here and get ready. When you see me, 3, 2, 1, okay?
No, I couldn't hear him.
All right, folks, now before we get started with our exciting show, a word from our sponsor, Lucky Strike. LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. You see, Luckies are made better, made round and firm, packed to draw freely and smoke evenly. Everybody knows, LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
3, 2, 1. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm studying my chess. It's an interesting thing about chess. One move can mean the whole game. That's why I'm so careful. With every move I make, I like to sit and smoke and really think it through. The cigarette, by the way, is Lucky Strike. I like its clean taste, nice aroma. It's my cigarette every time.
Mr. LaRue's reason for smoking Lucky Strike is the same millions of smokers give. They like the taste of Lucky. Cleaner, fresher, smoother.
I've never heard of Mr. Lure before, but he sounds so smart. Makes me want to learn to play chess.
And now it gives me great pleasure to present yours and my favorite comedy team, Abbott and Costello.
I love these guys.
Me too, especially Costello.
Well, Costello, the Giants think you're pretty good. They know I've coached you throughout your career, so they gave me a job as coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look, Abbott, if you're the coach, you must know all the players.
I certainly do.
Well, you know I've never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
I'll tell you their names, but seems to me they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
You mean funny names?
Strange names, pet names. Like Dizzy Dean,
His brother Daffy.
Daffy Dean.
And their French cousin, Reg Gouffet.
That's a real knee slapper.
Gouffet Dean, is that supposed to be a joke?
You don't get it? No wonder you're the straight man.
That's for sure.
Fine, well, let's get back to the players. Who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I said, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you going to be the coach?
Yes?
And the manager too?
Yes.
And you don't know the fellows' names?
I do know their names.
Well then, who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Look. You got a first baseman?
Certainly.
The first baseman's name?
Who?
When you pay the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
That's really funny.
All I'm trying to find out is the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets...
That's it.
Who gets the money?
Every dollar of it. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Who's what?
Yes. What is wrong with that?
All I'm trying to find out is when you sign up the first baseman, how does he sign his name?
Who?
The guy!
That's it.
How does he sign?
That's how he signs it.
Who? Yes! All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what's on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't change the players around.
I'm not changing nobody. Take it easy, buddy. All I'm trying to find out is who's on first.
That's it.
Okay, all right. What's the guy's name on first base?
No. What is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about him.
Now, how did I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
If I mentioned the third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No. Who's on first?
What's on base?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go. Back on third. Will you just stay on third and don't go off it?
All right. What do you want to know?
Now, what's the guy's name on third base?
What's on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. You got an outfield on this team?
Sure.
The left fielder's name?
Why?
I just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Well, then tell me who's playing left field.
Who's on first?
I'm not. Stay out of the infield. All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name in left field.
No. What's on second?
You don't want who on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know. Third base. The left fielder's name.
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's center field?
Look. You got a pitcher on this team?
Sure.
The pitcher's name?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today.
I'm telling you
Then
now.
go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow? You better tell me who's pitching.
Now listen. Who is not pitching?
I will break your arm if you say who's on first. What's the pitcher's name?
No. What's on second?
I don't know! Third base! Got a pitcher on this team?
Certainly.
The catcher's name?
Today.
Today. And tomorrow's pitching.
Now you got it.
All we got is a couple days on the team! You know, I'm a catcher too.
I know that.
I get behind the plate to do some fancy catching. Tomorrow's pitching on my team and a heavy hitter gets up. Now the heavy hitter butts the ball. When he butts the ball, me, being a good catcher, I'm going to throw the guy out on first base. So I pick up the ball and I throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's all you have to do.
Just throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Look. I throw the ball to first base. Somebody's got to get it. Now, who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
Naturally?
Naturally.
So I pick up the ball and I throw it to naturally.
No, you throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
You're not saying it.
I pick the ball and I throw it to naturally.
You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
You asked me.
I pick the ball and I throw it to who?
Naturally.
Now you ask me.
You pick up the ball and you throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you. Same as you. I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball and the guy runs to second. Who throws it to what? What throws it to? I don't know. I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play. Another hitter gets up and hits a long fly ball to cuts.
H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and the star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacence, people went to and from over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over the small spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet, across an immense ethereal gulf, minds to our minds, as ours, are as to beasts in the jungle, intellects vast, cool, and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, and slowly and surely drew their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the Great Disillusionment. It was near the end of October. Business was better. The war scare was over. More men were back at work. Sales were picking up. On this particular evening, October 30th, the Crossley service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on their radios.
For the next 24 hours, not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing in forecasted rain accompanied by winds of a light gale force. Maximum temperature 66, minimum 48. This weather report comes to you from the Government Weather Bureau. We take you to the Meridian Room at the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Ramon Rockello and his orchestra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza in New York City, we bring you to the music of Ramon Rockello and his orchestra. With a touch of the Spanish, Ramon Rockello leads off with La Comparsita.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Phil of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving towards Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Ferrell's observations and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun. We now return to the music of Ramon Rockello playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York. We are now ready to take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you to Princeton, New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Phillips speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton. I am standing in a large semicircular room, pitch black except for an oblong split in the ceiling. Through this opening, I can see a sprinkling of stars that cast a kind of frosty glow over the intricate mechanism of the huge telescope. The ticking sound you hear is the vibration of the clockwork. Professor Pearson stands directly above me on a small platform, peering through a giant lens. I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen, during any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the ceaseless watch of the heavens, Professor Pearson may be interrupted by telephone or other communications. During this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical centers of the world. Professor, may begin our questions.
At any time, Mr. Phillips.
Professor, would you please tell the radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet Mars through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Mr. Phillips. A red disk swimming in a blue sea, transverse stripes across the disk. Quite distinct now because Mars happens to be in the point nearest the Earth, in opposition as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transverse stripes signify, Professor Pearson?
They're not canals, I can assure you, Mr. Phillips, although that's the popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited. From a scientific viewpoint, the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions peculiar to the planet.
Then you're quite convinced as a scientist that living intelligence, as we know it, does not exist on Mars?
I'd say the chances against it are 1,000 to 1.
And yet, how do you account for those gas eruptions occurring on the surface of the planet at regular intervals?
Mr. Phillips, I cannot account for it. I'd say it's just one of nature's small irregularities.
By the way, Professor, for the benefit of our listeners, how far is Mars from Earth?
Approximately 40 million miles.
How do they know that?
I don't know. Shush.
Well, that seems a safe enough distance. Thank you. Just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, someone has just handed Professor Pearson a message. While he reads it, let me remind you that we are speaking to you from the observatory in Princeton, New Jersey, where we are interviewing the world-famous astronomer, Professor Pearson. One moment, please. Professor Pearson has just passed me a message, which he has just received. Professor, may I read the message to the listening audience?
Certainly, Mr. Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray at the National History Museum. New York, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered a shock of almost earthquake intensity, occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate. Signed, Lloyd Gray, Chief of Astronomical Division. Professor Pearson, could this occurrence possibly have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Mr. Phillips. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, and its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence. However, we shall conduct a search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, noted astronomer. This is Carl Phillips speaking. We are returning you now to our New York studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News, Toronto, Canada. Professor Morse of McGill University reports observing a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars between the hours of 7:45 p.m. and 9:20 p.m. This confirms earlier reports received from American observatories. Now, nearer home comes a special announcement from Trenton, New Jersey. It is reported that at 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene, and we'll have our commentator, Carl Phillips, give you a moment-to-moment description as soon as he can reach there from Princeton. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millette and his orchestra are offering a program of swinging dance music. We take you now to Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again at the Wilmot Bar, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Professor Pearson and myself made the 11 miles from Princeton in just 10 minutes. Well, I hardly know where to begin. I paint for you a word picture of this strange scene before my eyes, like something out of the modern Arabian Nights. Well, I just got here. I haven't had a chance to look around yet. But there it is! That's the thing, directly in front of me. It's hard to see for it's half buried in a vast pit. It must have struck with terrific force. The ground is covered with splinters of a tree. It must have struck on its way down. What I can see of the object, well, I must tell you, it doesn't look very much like a meteor. At least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. It has a diameter of... What would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say? What is the diameter?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards, and it looks like the sheath is manufactured. Some kind of metal. Well, I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish-white. Curious spectators are now pressing close to the object, in spite of the efforts of the police to keep them back. They're getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind standing to one side, please?
One side there, one side.
While the policemen are pushing the crowd back, here's Mr. Wilman, owner of the farm here. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilman, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilman.
Well, I was listening to the radio.
Closer and louder, please.
Pardon me?
Louder, please, and closer.
Yes, sir. Well, I was listening to the radio. That Professor Phil was talking about Mars. Frogs have drones in their house.
Yes, Mr. Willis. And then you saw something?
Not first off. I heard something.
And what did you hear?
It hissing sound like this. Kind of like a fortune rocket.
Then what?
Turned my head out the window and would have sworn I was sleeping and dreaming.
Yes.
I see a kind of green streak and then single something smacked the ground. Knocked it clear out of my chair.
Wow.
I'm scared.
Well, were you frightened, Mr. Willis?
Well, I ain't quite sure. I reckon I was kind of rattled.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Thank you.
Want me to tell you some more?
Yes! No, that's quite all right. That's plenty.
No, it's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard Mr. Willis, owner of the farm where this thing has fallen. I wish I could convey the atmosphere. The background of this is fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars are parked in the field in back of us. Police are trying to rope off the roadway leading to the farm. But it's no use. They're breaking right through. The car's headlights throw an enormous spot on the pit where this object's half buried. Some of the more daring souls are now venturing near the edge. Their silhouettes stand out against the metal sheeting. One man wants to touch the thing. He's having an argument with a policeman. The policeman wins. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned in all this excitement, but now it's becoming more distinct. Perhaps you've caught it already on your radio. Listen. Do you hear it? It's a curious humming sound that seems to be coming from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Now we're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear now? Oh, Professor Pearson!
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
Can you tell us the meaning of that scraping noise inside the thing?
It's possibly the unequal cooling of its surface.
I see. Do you still think it's a meteor, Professor?
Mr. Phillips, I don't know what to think. This is completely new to my experience. The metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial, not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in a meteorite. This thing is smooth and, as you can see, of cylindrical shape.
Oh, dear Lord.
Just a minute. Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is fantastic. We are witnessing a momentous event in human history. The end of the thing is beginning to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw. The thing must be hollow.
She's moving! Look, right! She's off!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone's crawling out of the hollow top. Someone or something I can see peering out of the black hole. Two luminous discs. Are they eyes? It might be a face. It might be...
Honey!
Never mind that. It's not important right now.
Good heavens, something's wriggling out of the channel like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another. They look like tentacles to me. There, I can see the thing's body. It's large as a bear, and it glistens like wet leather. But that face, it... Ladies and gentlemen, there are no words to describe it. We are seeing for the first time something that is alive, and it's really terrifying to look at. I can't take my eyes off of it. It's like something invisible is forcing me to look. The eyes are black and gleam like a serpent. The mouth is V-shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips that seem to quiver and pulsate. Is it friendly or not? I don't know. The monster or whatever it is can hardly move. It seems weighed down by possibly gravity or something. The thing's racing up. The crowd falls back now, facing plenty. This is the most extraordinary experience. I can't find words. I'll hold this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the description until I can take a new position. Hold on, will you please? I'll be right back.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmot Farm in Grover's Mill, New Jersey. We now return you to Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill.
Ladies and gentlemen, am I on? Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back of a stone wall that adjoins Mr. Wilmot's garden. From here I get a whiff of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk, as long as I can see. More state police have arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit, about 30 of them. No need to push the crowd back now. They're willing to keep their distance. Everyone is transfixed. We are mesmerized while we witness something wonderful or terrible. None of us know, and we wait with bated breath.
What's gonna happen?
It's alright, honey. It's just a show.
Are you sure it's just a show? It doesn't sound like it to me.
Okay.
Pretty hard.
He's talking again.
Are we back on? We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, apparently these creatures radiate some kind of energy which is interfering with our broadcast. I can see it happening. He's conferring with someone. We can't quite see who. Yes, Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted. The professor moves around one side, studying the object, while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief, tied to a pole, a flag of truce. How would those creatures know what that means? What anything means? Wait, something's happening! A humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against the mirror. What's that? The jet of flame springing from the mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Good Lord, they're turning to flame! The woods, the barns, the best of the automobiles. It's turning everywhere. It's heading this way. Oh my God, about 20 yards to my right. May God bless you and your families.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return to that point at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, we have a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Stinson, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society, obviously unaware of these latest developments, expressed the opinion that the explosions on Mars were undoubtedly nothing more than severe volcanic disturbances on the surface of the planet.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just a moment. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill, their bodies burned and destroyed beyond all possible recognition. We will now read you the message from Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and East Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by special pass issued by the state or military authorities. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within range of military operations. Thank you.
You have just been listening to the message of General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back into their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies that extinguished the fire. Combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside. We've been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you... Just one moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eyewitness of the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he has established an emergency observation post. As a scientist, he will give you his explanation of the calamity. The next voice you hear will be that of Professor Pearson, brought to you by direct wire. Professor Pearson.
Am I on? Ladies and gentlemen, what I am witnessing is outside of the parameters of what we've known to be truth. Regarding creatures in the rocket cylinder at Grover's Mill, I can give you no authoritative information, either as to their nature, their origin, or their purposes here on Earth. I will say that they are not of this Earth. Of their destructive instrument, I will hazard an explanation. For want of a better term, I shall refer to the mysterious weapon as a heat ray. It's all too evident that these creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. It is my guess that in some way they are able to generate an intense heat in a chamber of practically absolute non-conductivity. This intense heat they project in a parallel beam against any object they choose by means of a polished parabolic mirror of unknown composition, much as the mirror of a lighthouse projects a beam of light. That is my conjecture of the origin of the heat ray.
Thank you, Professor Payson. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the bulletin from Trenton. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Carl Phillips has been identified at Trenton Hospital. Carl was not only a professional to his last moments, he was dedicated to his family, friends, of which I am proud to be one, and of course to each and every one of you out there. In the spirit of his dedication to the truth, you shall continue to bring the information as quickly and comprehensively as humanly possible. Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C. Office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of state militia stationed outside Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's a bulletin from the State Police, Princeton Junction. The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under control. Scouts report all quiet in the pit and no sign of life appearing from the mouth of the cylinder. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have received a special statement from Mr. Hay McDonald, Vice President in charge of operations.
We have received a request from the militia at Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facilities. In view of the gravity of the situation and believing that radio has a responsibility to serve in the public interest at all times, we are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton.
We take you now to the field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
This is Captain Lansing of the Signal Corps, attached to the state militia now engaged in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. Although our communications have been blocked for the last several minutes, we want to assure you that the situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control. As we speak, the cylindrical object, which lies in a pit directly below our position, is surrounded on all sides by 8 battalions of infantry. They are without heavy field pieces, but are more than adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm, if such cause ever existed, is now entirely unjustified. The things, whatever they are, do not even venture to poke their heads above the pit. I can see they're hiding plainly in the glare of the searchlights here. With all the reported resources, these creatures can scarcely stand up against heavy machine gun fire. Anyway, it's an interesting outing for the troops. I can make out the khaki uniforms crossing back and forth in front of the lights. It looks almost like a real war.
Almost like a real war. Is he nuts? What, all the bodies and fire damage?
It's obvious. He's one of them where he's been hypnotized.
There appears to be some slight smoke in the woods, bordering the Millstone River. Probably fire started by campers. Well, we ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is deploying on the left flank. A quick thrust, and it will all be over. Now wait a minute. I see something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilmouth farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. Wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving, solid, metal, kind of shield-like affair rising out of the cylinder. It's going higher and higher. Why, it's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and searchlights are on it. Hold on!
Definitely not one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle which took place tonight at Grover's Mill has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by any army in modern times. 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against the single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. There are only 120 known survivors, the rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal fleet of the monster, or burned to cinders by a heat ray. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey, and has effectively cut the state through its center. Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean. Railroad tracks are torn, and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued, except routing some trains through Allentown and Phoenixville. Highways to the north, south, and west are clogged with frantic human traffic. Police and Army reserves are unable to control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swelled Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton. It is estimated to twice their normal population. At this time, martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. We take you now to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency. The Secretary of the Interior.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation that confronts the country, nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of its people. However, I wish to impress upon you, private citizens and public officials all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action. Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area, and we may place our faith in the military forces to keep them there. In the meantime, placing our faith in God, we must continue the performance of our duties, each and every one of us, so that we may confront this destructive adversary with the nation united, consecrated, and to the preservation of human beings on this earth. I thank you.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
What's left for us?
Susie, I should call her.
Hello?
Hello? Hi, Mary. It's Betty. Is everything all right?
Everything's fine. The kids are working on the costumes. Why? Is everything all right?
Yes. She doesn't know yet.
Don't say anything. Not yet, anyway.
Is Susie there?
She's right here. Hi, Mom. That's funny. I was just going to call you. When we're done, we're all going to go and get a pop and hang out for a little while, okay?
No!
You have just heard the Secretary of the Interior speaking from Washington. Bulletins too numerous to read are piling up in the studio here. We are informed the central portion of New Jersey is blacked out from radio communication due to the effect of the heat ray upon power lines and electrical equipment. Here is a special bulletin from New York. Cables received from English, French, and German scientific bodies offering assistance. Astronomers report continued gas outbursts at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The majority opinion is that the enemy will be reinforced by additional rocket machines. Attempts are being made to locate Professor Pearson of Princeton, who has observed the Martians at close range. It is feared he was lost in recent battle.
Why not? My homework's done and I'm staying over anyway.
I know, honey, but I want you to stay inside.
Mom!
There's some strange people running around the neighborhood.
Huh?
I'll explain later. Bye.
Lincoln Field, Virginia. Scouting planes report 3 Martian machines visible above treetops, moving north toward Somerville with the population fleeing ahead of them. Heat ray not in use, although advancing at express train speeds. Invaders pick their way carefully. They seem to be making conscious effort to avoid destructions of cities and countrysides. However, they stop to uproot power lines, bridges, and railroad tracks. Their apparent objective is to crush resistance, paralyze communication, and disorganize human society. Here's a bulletin from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Coon hunters have stumbled on a second cylinder similar to the first, embedded in the Great Swamp 20 miles south of Morristown. Army field pieces are proceeding from New York to blow up second invading unit. The cylinder can be opened and the fighting machine ridged. They are taking up position in the foothills of Watchung Mountain.
Another bulletin from Lake Hanfield, Virginia. Scouting planes report enemy machines, now 3 in number, increasing speeds southward, kicking over houses and trees in their evident haste to form a conjunction with their allies south of Morristown. Machines have also been sighted by telephone operator east of Middlesex, within 10 miles of Plainfield. Here's a bulletin from Winston Field, Long Island. Fleet of Army bombers carrying heavy explosives fly south in pursuit of enemy. Scouting planes act as guides to keep speeding enemy in sight. Just a moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. We've run special wires to the artillery line in adjacent villages to give you direct reports in the zone of the advancing enemy. First, we take you to the battery of the 22nd Field Artillery, located in Watchung Mountain.
Range, 32 meters.
32 meters.
Projection, 39 degrees.
39 degrees.
Fire!
140 yards to the right, sir.
Shift range, 31 meters.
31 meters.
Projection, 37 degrees.
37 degrees.
Fire!
It hit, sir. We got the tripod of one of them. They've stopped. The others are trying to repair it.
Quick, get the range. Shift, 30 meters.
30 meters.
Projection, 27 degrees.
27 degrees.
Fire!
Can't see the shell edge, sir. They're letting off a smoke.
What is it?
A black smoke, sir. Moving this way, lying close to the ground. It's moving fast.
Put on gas masks. Get ready to fire. Shift, 24 meters.
24 meters.
Projection, 24 degrees.
24 degrees.
Fire!
Still can't see us, sir. The smoke's coming nearer.
Get the range. 23 meters. 23 meters. 22 degrees. Army bombing plane, E-843, off Bay in New Jersey. Lieutenant Voss, commanding 8 bombers. Reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. This is Voss, reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. Enemy tripod machines now in sight. Reinforced by 3 machines from Morristown facility. 6 altogether. 1 machine already crippled. It was hit by shell from Army gun in Watchung Mountains. Guns now appear silent. Heavy black fog moving close to the earth of extreme density. Danger unknown. No sign of heat ray. Enemy now continues crossing the Snake River into the Jersey marshes. Another straddles the blasting skyway. Enemy's objective is New York City. They're pushing down a high-tension power station. The machines are close together now, and are ready to attack. Plane circling, ready to strike. 1,000 yards will be over the first. 800 yards, 600, 400, 200. There they go, they're in a race. Green flag, they're spraying them to flame. 2,000 feet, engines are giving out. No chance to release bombs. Only one thing left. Drop on them, play it all. We're diving on the first one. Now the engine's gone. 8.
This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Lincoln Field. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Lincoln Field. Come in, please.
This is Lincoln Field. Go ahead.
8 Army bombers in engagement with enemy tripod machines over Jersey Flats. Engines incapacitated by heat ray. All crashed. One enemy machine destroyed. Enemy announced charging heavy black smoke in the direction of.
This is Newark, New Jersey. This is Newark, New Jersey. Warning, poisonous black smoke pouring from Jersey marshes. Reaches South Street. Gas masks useless. Urge population to move into open spaces. Automobiles use about 7, 24, 23. Avoid congested areas. Smoke now spreading over Wayman Boulevard.
2x2L, calling CQ. 2x2L, calling CQ. 2x2L, calling 8x3R. Come in, please.
This is 8X3R coming back at 2X2L.
How's reception? How's reception? Hey, please. Where are you, 8x3R? What's the matter? Where are you?
I'm speaking from the roof of the broadcasting building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as the Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchinson River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Avoid bridges to Long Island, hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our army wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. This may be the last broadcast. We'll stay here till the end. People are holding service below us, in the cathedral.
Rose, rose, rose.
Now I look down the harbor. All manner of boats overloaded with fleeing population, pulling out from the docks. Streets are all jammed. Boys and crowd like moving in the cities. Wait a minute. Ending outside of the Palisades. 5 brig machines. First one is crossing the river. I can see from here. Wading the Hudson like a man. Wading through a brook. A bulletin's handed. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. One inside Buffalo, one in Chicago, St. Louis seems to be time and space. Now the first one reaches the shore. He stands watching, looking over the city. The steel, cowlish machine heads, each one skyscrapers. He waits for the others. They rise like a line of blue towers on the city's west side. Now the others shoot metal hands. This is the end now. Smoke comes out. Black smoke drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running towards the East River. Thousands of them going in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reached Times Square. People trying to run away from it. But it's no use. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke's crossing 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
2x2L, calling CQ. 2x2L, calling CQ. New York, isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone? 2x2L. What are we gonna do?
Where can we hide?
I don't know. What's gonna happen?
Honey, the radio's gone dead.
Fix it, now!
I have a spare tube in the garage. Help me find it.
You are listening to a CBS presentation of Orson Welles in the Mercury Theater, on air in an original dramatization of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. The performance will continue after a brief intermission. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Okay.